What's good, y'all? I'm about to react to this breaking Marvel Studio reboot, new details reveal. Give us the news, everything, always.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, ever since they announced Avengers Secret Wars as the end of the multiverse saga, we've pretty much known that there was a reboot in the works. We simply didn't know what it would look like. And even when Kevin Feige confirmed this earlier this year at their Burbank HQ meeting, saying that there would be resetting of singular timelines and an eventual recast for everyone, including Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, he then also immediately went on to say that actors like Chris Hemsworth are in their prime and could play characters like Thor for another 10 years. Well, today we've got a trusted industry insider source adding a lot more clarity to what Marvel's reboot is going to look like post-Secret Wars as we enter Phase 7. And if this report is true, it's not as invasive as we thought, and in fact is actually going to go a long way in erasing some moments that fans absolutely hated. We're breaking down this latest industry insider report about the Marvel reboot to come, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helping.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm just wondering, like, who would be the whole new reboot of the new Avengers? I mean, not Thunderbolts, but the whole squad, the 2012 squad, had Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Like, that whole squad, like, man, you really can't recast nobody because all those actors that play those roles, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 100%, 100%. It's like you can't get nobody else, dude. It's like, man, who would be else to step in that role for the reboot?
Grow the channel. You guys are awesome. We're growing again at an insane rate. And if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so. Whether you've been rocking with the channel for a while or this is your first time finding us, subbing is the best way to support us. Plus, it'll automatically enter you for the giveaways. All you got to do, be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest update actually comes from industry insider and writer over at the Cosmic Circus, Alex Perez. He, alongside editor-in-chief Lizzie Hill, have been responsible for a ton of accurate Marvel scoops over the last 4 or 5 years. Take that as you will, but this is what he's indicating is going to happen during this MCU reset, and again, after Avengers Secret Wars going into Phase 7. He says it'll be a, quote, quick scrub of details the MCU wants to sort of forget and redo. He then clarifies that there's 3 core pillars of how this reset's going to work. The first one is that they're going to resurrect some of the heroes and villains as well that died during the Infinity Saga and parts of the Multiverse Saga, and because we've had a limited number of extremely important deaths and a lot of deaths that maybe won't matter in the sense of a rewrite, I think it's pretty easy to signal in on which characters may be coming back. We'll talk about that in just a second. Then he clarifies that one of the main purposes of this is to erase some minor events that bother fans and Kevin Feige. And that thirdly, they're looking to keep 75 to 85% of the original timeline that we've experienced through the MCU as the mainline continuity going forward.
That's 75 to 80%. Dang. They don't keep, okay. I know what they probably could keep. They can keep Deadpool. I could say Ryan Reynolds, he probably got about 3 more films he can probably do a Deadpool. I ain't gonna lie, man. He just so good with Deadpool. It's feel like he got emotional attachment with the character. Knows everything about him. Know what he eats, what he thinks, what he smells like, and type of stuff like that, dude. I say keep Deadpool. I feel like Thor, he can probably do some, probably 3 more films also. I think probably Hugh Jackman probably could too. But I ain't gonna lie, he been Wolverine so long, man. Oh my God. RDJ, I don't know about that one though. RDJ, I feel like he could though. I feel like everybody right now, they could though. I feel like Samuel Jackson probably could. I think everybody can do it though. They probably stay healthy, be active though. But really, that really is not going to last long. They really got to give it up, too. Like Wesley Snipes, Julia Gardner. I ain't going to lie. Boy, but it was going to be crazy. 75 to 80%, 75 to 80% they going to keep. Okay, I know Loki, Tom Hiddleston, he'll stay. I can see him doing probably three more films. I can kind of still see everybody though,
We're
still doing that
reset into
thing.
what, again, Kevin Feige called singular timelines. Now, going through each one of these and circling back to the first about resurrecting heroes and villains that have already died in the MCU, I know there will be this immediate clamoring for obviously Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and even Black Widow, but we know from a couple of reports say specifically about what's going on with Yelena Belova's character in the future of the MCU that most likely we will not be seeing Scarlett Johansson back as Black Widow after the multiverse saga has concluded. So if you're getting that type of impression from this update, don't. That's not what they're saying. But conversely, when you try to narrow down what deaths from previous stories would be worth reversing, there are some characters that would have a healthy future in the MCU because of the stories that they can now tell that are gone. And I think two names that come to the forefront is Josh Brolin's Thanos and obviously Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch. Now with the entrance of the mutants, interest in a House of M storyline, there are so many movies and projects she could be a part of that would not in any way sort of conflict with any of the characters that would have taken her.
I ain't gonna lie, since Doctor Strange did well, he really didn't get rid of Scarlet Witch. Well, she just destroyed her own self. She just went like into her home tomb, I guess, just went down underground. We ain't even see her again. So I wonder how they gonna resurrect her back in the films since she gonna be coming back though. Maybe we might see her in Secret Wars, probably Scarlet Witch in a different timeline. But I don't know what's up with this Scarlet Witch now that really ain't even present like that no more. She just deep in the underground somewhere and she just sleeping right now. But I would like to see Thanos come back, probably from a different timeline, how they did with him in Endgame. But man, it's something with Thanos. Thanos was nice with it, was cool with it, villain it with it. I just like that whole character, man. Love seeing him
Place. In the
come
case of
back.
Yelena Belova, she's most certainly our Black Widow going forward, and because of the history that Scarlett Johansson has with Marvel Studios, directing a mystery project at Disney Plus or not, considering how much things have changed, she's not coming back as Black Widow. That's pretty emphatic on her part. We can almost rest assured that won't be happening. But erasing Elizabeth Olsen dying at the end of Multiverse of Madness is one death that I could see Marvel Studios wanting to undo with the events that are coming up in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Josh Brolin's Thanos is the exact same way, and that's why in a video we just did regarding Deadpool 4, where it said that Ryan Reynolds is going to have a team that includes Wolverine, Storm, and Cable, I'm guessing that's going to be a recast, and only because they might need Josh Brolin as Thanos going forward. And yes, I know one is mocap CGI, one is the guy. They don't look the same, but man, they sound the same. Josh Brolin's voice is identifiable the moment he speaks, and in a world where Pedro Pascal gets every single role in Hollywood, can we please just get a recast for a new actor? We don't need him playing two roles in the MCU, but for stories like, say, Annihilation Wave, which may be coming up in the not too distant future of the MCU with the introduction of Annihilus, I would think maybe there's a place for Thanos in the future, and undoing the fact that he's gone now would.
Man, cause Thanos was so great, dude. They can do a movie about it. I ain't gonna lie, I would be there if they do a movie about Thanos, dude. Boy, I want to be there, dude. That'd be cool, though. But man, shoot, that would be crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that shit would be crazy, man. Dang.
Makes sense to me as well. Now, the next part of this about erasing events that were frustrating to fans and or Kevin Feige, really it's projects as a whole that have been frustrating to the fans and Kevin Feige. In my opinion, if we ran a poll for, say, the top 3 or 5 TV shows, movies, events, or characters that the fans would want to see replaced or erased after the multiverse saga concludes with this reboot, we wouldn't be able to reach a consensus. Okay, maybe we would, because there are some.
Yeah, cause some of them shows is just effing ridiculous, dude. Like, they really do not necessarily need to be presented. Like, Secret Invasion, that was a terrible project. Echo was a terrible project. Miss Marvel, really, I say that's a terrible project too. They should have just showed her in Avengers, at least. Not Endgame, but like probably in like a big main character movie. I meant to say, not like Avengers though, but in like another big main character movie. Probably in Doctor Strange, they probably could have showed her, or the Marvels, and I feel like it shouldn't have had their own project. It should just brought them in Avengers, but and the Marvels really wasn't a good project like that. It's just some stuff. I just feel like Marvel really just rushed some projects. They should really just went with the flow with everything. Cause hey, y'all beating DC easily. Marvel's beating DC. I mean, just with their projects, honestly, really. DC really ain't got no competition against them. I don't know what's up with DC, and I would definitely not be watching Supergirl or their Superman movie coming now, or Clayface. I would be watching the Lanterns though. I want to know what the Lanterns are gonna be about. But man, I want another Justice League movie from DC. Bad. The first one was good. I love the first movie. But man, just with Marvel putting out their projects and Avengers, that's easily beating Justice League. But
Extremely
man,
embarrassing projects like Secret Invasion that should have never been made. But the way he puts this scoop and the way we've sort of heard of it, it sounds like to me that there are some very specific details that piss Kevin Feige off that he doesn't like for the continuity. And you can guarantee, regardless of what the sort of fanfare has said online about shows like She-Hulk, etc., he's going to focus on the events he doesn't like and make sure that those are all swept under the carpet going forward into Phase 7 and not a part of the continuity anymore. And where this leaves all of the Kang involvement in the multiverse saga, I'm not so sure. I've been pretty emphatic that they don't want to open that can of worms at all if they don't have to, and we may never even hear or see of any of that ever again. I don't think that's sort of a thing they're going to address, but it's other small things, again, like the death of Wanda Maximoff that, well, may have been just a little premature, especially when you're getting into all of these mutant storylines.
yeah, they should did her better in Doctor Strange though. That's crazy. That's see a hero really turn as a villain. That's the first time I ever seen that. I really can't see who else turned as a hero. Actually, first she was like a villain in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Then turn around and join the Avengers as a good girl. Then all this then came about. See, it was I think it was after it was Endgame. Endgame then WandaVision. They kind of did make her a good girl against Agatha. That turn around, she was a bad, a bad villain. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but I don't know how they was going with that character, dog. With Scarlet Witch though, but we really gonna need her because she is one of the most powerful. Shit, she up there with Thor, I would say. Probably Thor. I mean, who else is like that powerful in Marvel like that besides Thor? Thor and WandaVision, Scarlet Witch. Besides those two, I could say Thanos though. Only with Thanos with the gauntlet. If he didn't have the gauntlet, Thanos really is not that powerful. He's just strong, big, and fast, dude. I would say Thanos with the gauntlet, Thor, uh, Scarlet Witch, and I would say Doctor Strange too. Doctor Strange, he got some power too. Be Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, WandaVision. Them the same thing. Thor and Thanos with the gauntlet, I would say, would be the most powerful character.
Starting up in just 2 or 3 years. Plus, she will have had a break by then, pretty substantial one between Mom and the beginning of Phase 7 if she's
X-Men, I probably would say Charles Xavier, Sandra Nova. I believe she powerful too. I ain't gonna lie. Magneto, definitely Magneto. Oh my God. I would say Magneto. Marvel, I would say again, Thanos with the gauntlet, Thor, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange. Then for X-Men, I would say Charles Xavier, Magneto, Cassandra Nova. I would probably say them three right there. Hey, who else would be powerful? Trying to think of. Oh, Jean Grey. Jean Grey. Jean Grey. Forgot Jean Grey. Jean, yeah. Charles Xavier, Magneto, Jean Grey, Cassandra
In the
Nova.
next two Avengers films, so the way she feels about being a part of it may all change. Plus, there's a lot of zeros on the check that she'll be getting, so that also may have something to do with it. Now, the whole picture that this paints is not a very invasive reboot. It does not sound like there are going to be extensive recasts or sort of a whole new molding of characters or resetting of the storyline. 75 to 80% of the exact same continuity with small changes that are altering the outcomes of events that lead to characters still being alive is not sort of the reboot that we all envisioned for the end of Avengers Secret Wars, where a lot of characters have this major off-ramp and we're getting recasts for major characters in the MCU like Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange, Wanda Maximoff. And that's not what's happening. What's happening here is that they're going to tool around with little things to change them. And honestly, that was to be expected, right? I mean, how are you going to have a multiverse saga where Doctor Doom is presumably going to sit at the center of a new battle world in lieu of there not being a multiverse anymore because he will have defeated Loki, and then say things went back to the way that they were and everything was exactly the same when it finishes? I think there was always going to be some repercussions. There was always going to be ripples, so to speak, with how the storylines would play out. And it sounds like Marvel Studios has this loose.
This would be so crazy, dude. We see Charles Xavier die probably for the fourth time, I would say. Fourth or fifth time, then see Loki be defeated for the third time. Gonna lie, that would be crazy, dog. Yeah, man. Shoot, who else done? That'd be crazy, dog. Out of Charles Xavier and Loki, by them being defeated and dying, man, I would hate to see Doctor Strange get rid of Loki. God, but that I ain't gonna lie, that would be a cool fight between Loki and Doctor Strange, though. I ain't gonna lie, that would be pretty cool to see. Man, that would be pretty cool to see. Dang, Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange ganging up on Loki, dude. Loki and Thor. Ooh, that would be a nice fight right there. I would like to see. Well, we see a duo between Loki and Thor versus Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange. Woo, that would be fire. I would like to see
Plan,
that.
maybe a couple of things Kevin Feige has at the top of his list he wants to make sure they address, but it won't be ripping up the MCU from root and stem and a complete recast for the original Avengers. And I know there was a lot of sort of cautious trepidation when Kevin Feige said, yes, eventually we will have to recast Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, have a new Iron Man and Captain America in the end.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like how Marvel's really gonna do it. They're gonna keep the new Avengers. Well, like just a younger crowd. Really young crowd and the new Avengers. I think the younger Avengers they gonna make their project. I don't think I'm not seeing that. If I see the backlash on that movie, I'm be like, nah, I ain't gonna even have a chance to watch it. I think they gonna probably keep Elena Belova, cause she younger. The new Avengers. I mean, the younger Avengers. They gonna keep Wanda Maximoff's son, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop. Um, who else about to be the younger? They about to keep all that and just recast like the older actors that play the Avengers. But I think that's how Marvel probably gonna do. They gonna keep like the younger crowd. Hopefully they do. But they precious to us too though. Even though they really ain't doing so good, they can really make them big stars as the older cast of Avengers how they did it. But who's else? What's her name in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? I done forgot. She had like the star power, some type of stuff she had. They don't supposed to be the young Avengers. You're gonna have Miss Marvel. Once I said it again, Miss Marvel. Kate Bishop. Um, one of Maximoff's son. I think his name is Wakan or something like that. Supposed to have his power same as mother as Scarlet Witch. Wanna Maximoff. Supposed to have Cap. I think it's America Chavez. Yeah, I think that's her name. America Chavez. She had a star power in that one. I'm supposed to be the young Avengers. And I heard they're gonna make a project of that. But I ain't heard nothing from that project yet, so yeah, that's finna be something right there. I think they finna keep all that cast and take all the older cast out and put the newer, younger cast up in there. Gonna make a whole new, younger universe.
MCU, but it doesn't sound like that's something that's happening, say, in the next saga. That may be something for way further down the road, and as he put it, they already have plans to take them through 2032, and then obviously we'll be working on plans to take them further than that in the future, with no plans to leave Marvel Studios. And at this point, with all the rumors that he may go to Star Trek or Star Wars, I think the other one was he might go to DC for a while, but Star Wars has definitely been in the forefront of the conversation. Leave Marvel, go to Star Wars. That is the silliest thing that I have ever read, ever. Why would you leave Marvel Studios to go take over Star Wars? When leave Marvel, go to leave Marvel Studios way further down the road, and as he put it, they already have plans to take them through 2032, and then obviously we'll be working on plans to take them further than that in the future, with no plans to leave Marvel Studios. And at this point, with all the rumors that he may go to Star Trek or Star Wars, I think the other one was he might go to DC for a while, but Star Wars has definitely been in the forefront of the conversation. Leave Marvel, go to Star Wars. That is the silliest thing that I have ever read, ever. Why would you leave Marvel Studios to go take over Star Wars? When and if Kevin Feige ever decides to leave Marvel Studios, he may look to do one thing and one thing only, and that's take the chair of Bob Iger. Yes, a #1 producer in history at Marvel Studios is not a CEO of Disney. Those are two different things. But when you've been in the position Kevin Feige has been in, for as long as he's been in it, there are very few opportunities that would be interesting to him in a way that would offer him something new. And he's certainly not leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe with all his success there to try to inherit Star Wars.
I know, right? You true on that everything always. Shoot. Never forget where you come from. That's what I always live by and always honor. Never forget where you come from, cause man, cause you really could probably have some regret or something bad could come your way. You just forget where you come from. You just have a bad downfall about yourself, dog. That's why I never forget where I come from. From North Carolina, 22 years old. Love Marvel content, wrestling content. Man, I love it all. I love the video game all my life. I ain't never gonna forget from coming, but it'd be messed up if Kevin Feige just leaves Marvel, then go to like Star Wars. But man, I ain't gonna lie, Star Wars right now ain't looking so good. I ain't hear nothing from Star Wars, only just like the TV shows they got going on right now. I did look at Ashoka and act like they did have some pretty cool fight scenes in that. But all around with their storyline, it's just kind of boring and pale. I'm really not a big Star Wars fan like that, cause I really ain't watched like the older films. I ain't look at the older films. I look at like the newer films that's out right now for Star Wars, but it ain't looking too good. Even though I love the video game, oh my god, I'm a big Star Wars fan video gamer. Just playing Star Wars, The Force Unleashed 2. I ain't played the first one though. Playing that game, oh my god, that's my favorite Star Wars game. Then playing the Cal Kestis Star Wars game, Star Wars The Last Jedi, that game was fun. I really enjoyed that show right there, but I said enjoy that show. I really enjoy that game right there. But man, it'd be messed up if he leave though. And have somebody else in charge, but anyway, I'll have somebody else in charge to take over the MCU and try to put it in a good direction. I ain't gonna lie, it would be cool though. But let's see
Under the same Disney banner, that's absolutely ludicrous to me. There may come a time when Kevin Feige does not want to do this anymore, but I don't think that time is going to come, and it's going to be because he wants to go do it somewhere else for a movie franchise that hasn't had as much success and under the exact same corporate banner. You guys, however, let me know all your thoughts down below about this report about the MCU reboot.
But hey man, let's see what Marvel have their plans in store for right now. Got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming up. That's their latest movie project coming up. And we got Wonder Man coming up. That's a TV show. I will not be looking at that. But it is what it is they'll do from now. But I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, though. Spider-Man Avengers Doomsday, that's really interesting to hear and look at right now. But it is what it is, man. Do what you do. Do it for your boy. Run the views up for me. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.